Welcome back to 123 Kimchi. Can you make kimchi without gochugaru? The answer is yes. Today we're making easy red kimchi using fresh red chilies and fresh red bell pepper instead of gochugaru, Korean red chili powder. A lot of you have asked me this since gochugaru simply isn't available everywhere and other chili flakes and powders don't always give the same result. But kimchi isn't just one thing. In Korea, there are many lighter kimchi styles, and especially in summer, we use fresh chilies when people want something fresher and less heavy. It's lighter, juicier, and a little fruitier than classic gochugaru kimchi. Today, I'll show you how to make a small batch with 1 kilogram of kimchi cabbage, and at the end, we're going to compare it with classic kimchi so you can see the difference. Let's start with the cabbage. First, cut it halfway through the stem and split it in half. Then cut and split each half again to make quarters and cut crosswise into bite-sized pieces. And don't throw away the cabbage core. If it looks clean and fresh, thinly slice it and add it to the kimchi. It gives a crunchy bite and it's zero waste. Now for the brine, dissolve coarse sea salt in water and pour the brine over the cabbage and toss gently to coat. Don't massage it like sauerkraut, we want to keep that beautiful crunch. Place a plate on top, then weigh it down with something heavy. Flip the cabbage every 30 minutes so it brines evenly. In summer, this may take about 1.5 hours. In colder weather, it can take up to 3 hours. The cabbage is ready when the thick stem bends gently without snapping. Now rinse the cabbage 3 times, changing the water each time to wash away the excess salt. This step allows us to keep the cabbage crunchier and we can layer it with even more flavors. Then drain it in a colander for about 10 minutes. While the cabbage is draining, let's prepare the other vegetables. Traditionally, Korean radish is often used for kimchi, but where I live, it's not always available. So I'm using kohlrabi instead. Kohlrabi works beautifully because it has a clean sweetness and a good crunch. Peel it thoroughly since the peel can be quite tough. You can cut it into matchsticks, but I prefer thin, flat strips for refreshing kimchi like this one. Then slice the green onion diagonally. Now let's make the kimchi paste. I'm first going to make a simple flour slurry and let it take time to cool off a little. And I'm using less water today because we're using fresh peppers and it already contains more moisture than the regular kimchi paste. So for this kimchi, I'm using 1 tablespoon of flour and a half cup of water. Whisk them together, then bring it to a gentle boil, stirring continuously. Once it starts to boil, lower the heat and keep stirring for a couple of minutes and let it cool completely. This slurry helps the seasoning cling to the cabbage and supports fermentation. Now let's prepare the fresh peppers. Depending on how spicy or mild you want your kimchi to be, you can adjust the balance between the red bell peppers and the red chilies. For a milder kimchi, use more red bell peppers and less of the chilies. And for a spicier kimchi, simply use more chilies or use a spicier variety. For the fresh red chilies, cut it in half lengthwise. And if they're spicy, like most cases, scrape out the seeds with a spoon. This helps control the heat without losing the fresh chili flavor. Remove the stem and seeds from the red bell pepper and cut it into chunks. Now cut the onion into chunks as well. Add them to the blender and blend until smooth. Then crush the garlic to release its flavor and slice the ginger. And pulse briefly until they're just minced. Now in a large bowl, combine the cold flour slurry with the blended mixture. Then add fish sauce. For a vegan substitute, I always recommend 국간장, Korean light soy sauce, and the quantity is in the description. Then add a half teaspoon of sea salt. The seasoning will look different from regular kimchi paste. It'll be looser, juicier, and brighter, and that's exactly what we want. Now add the drained cabbage, kohlrabi or Korean radish, then green onion to the seasoning. Start mixing gently with your hands, making sure every piece is lightly coated. Again, don't mash the cabbage, but just lift and coat like this. Kimchi should keep its structure and crunch. Now pack the kimchi tightly into a clean container. Press down gently as you go to remove air pockets. Scrape any leftover seasoning from the bowl and add it to the container. Leave a little space on top of the container because the liquid will rise during fermentation. Now let it kickstart fermentation at room temperature. Because this kimchi is made with fresh peppers instead of gochugaru, it tends to ferment faster than regular kimchi. So don't leave it out for too long. In hot weather, half a day may be enough, and up to 2 days on cooler days. Look for small bubbles and a slight tangy smell. Then transfer the kimchi to the fridge where it will continue to ferment at lower temperatures. This batch has been fermenting for 2 weeks, so let's taste it. Here, I also have my regular kimchi with gochugaru so you can see the difference. The classic one has a deeper red color and more rounded chili aroma and overall balanced flavors. While this fresh pepper kimchi is lighter in color, more red-orange, and this one tastes fresher, lighter, and a little fruitier. If you tried this recipe, let me know how you liked it. And I hope this recipe inspires you to explore more Korean fermentation in your own kitchen. Happy kimchi making!